All right, for our calculator section, we have problem 27 of the SAT. We have for an exponential function g, the value of g decreases by 20% for each 1 unit increase in the value of x. If g of 2 equals 16, which equation would define g? All right, now, this is just directly talking about our exponential equations. So we know that the value is decreasing by 20%. Another way to have a decrease of 20% would be to multiply that number by 0.8, which is 100 minus our 20%. So 100% minus our 20% will give us 80%. And we can see that that's going to work because our decimal is 0.8, right? 80% equals 0.8 as a decimal. So when we have that, we can multiply that. Let's say we have a number 10 as our function. 10 times 0.8, in other words, 80% of 10 is going to equal 10 times 0.8. You can use your calculator if you need to. That's going to be, and this is just an example, that's going to be 8, which we know is 20% less than 10 because 20% of 10 is 0.2 times 10, or 1/5 of 10, which is going to be 2, and 10 minus 2 is 8. So, quick sidebar. This is my snack for today. This is a strawberry and other berries like blackberries and blueberries. What is this? A smoothie bowl? It's pretty good. Highly recommend the Ninja Creamy. So we use this 0.8 because that's 80% of our number. So instead of thinking of it as decreasing by 20%, we can think of it as increasing, or not increasing, just our number multiplied by 0.8. All right? Now, our function, g2 equals 16, means when we're plugging in 2, we get 16. So we want a value that is going to have an exponent of 0, because any number to the 0th power is going to be 1. If we have 1 million to the 0th power, that number equals 1. That's just one of our exponent rules. X to the 0th power also equals 1, right? So g of 2, remember, the reason we put our functions instead of y, we have g of x, is so we can plug stuff in. So g of 2 just means we're plugging in 2 to the equation. We want that to be 16. So for any one of these to work, we have to have, for example, this one, we want 16. This is A. Not saying A is correct, but for example, A. G of x would be 16, because g of 2 is going to be 16, and we're plugging in 2. That would equal 16 times 0.08, and that's going to raise to 2 minus 2, okay? Because x we're subbing in for 2, 16 again is for 2. So we can see that that's going to give us 16 equals 16 times 0.8 to the 0th power, which equals 1, so 16 equals 16, which is true. Okay, so now we know we want something x minus 2, which means that it cannot be b and it cannot be d, because those both have x plus 2. We want x minus 2 to give us that 0th power. Now, we're left with 0.8 and 0.2. If we were to multiply by 0.2, we'd be decreasing by much larger than 20%. We'd be decreasing by 80%, okay? If we were increasing, we'd have like 1.2 times it. So think about it in the same way. If we're decreasing by 20%, we actually have 80% of our original number. So a 20% decrease equals 80% of the original number, or the OG number, okay? Which means we have 0.8, which means our answer is going to be A.